First of all, we are so proud on having this panel with those two inspiring leaders, Giovanna and Isa. So thank you for being here with us. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. So probably everybody knows already, but let me just make that intro. Last year, Coca-Cola was named Creative Brand of the Year, Unilever Creative Marketeer of the Year. 2 years ago, AB InBev was also recognized as Creative Marketeer of the Year, 2 years in a row. And all of them have in common the passion for creativity and the clarity that creative excellence has methodology behind it, right? So in order you to achieve outstanding creativity in a regular basis, you need to design a creative process that enables that to happen. And I know that both of you believe that cultural understanding needs to be at the heart of this journey, right? So I'll start with this very simple question, and I'll start with Giovanna, please. So tell us, in your perspective, how you would define the framework to achieve creative excellence at scale on a regular basis at Unilever.
So, well, first of all, super happy to be here. I really appreciate the invitation. We usually, when we think about brands in Unilever, being global brands or even local, we always define a proposition which is really anchored on a very genuine and true consumer insight or a consumer truth. And by the moment we do so, I believe that it's much easier for finding the cultural expressions of this human truth in the different markets. And I think for me, this is the main pillar for this creative excellence, because then you have a one single truth, which is expressed in different ways in the different markets, and we can connect to cultural moments, cultural realities, and then make it like super genuine, super inspiring for people. So for me, connecting the proposition of the brand to the cultural expression of it is what makes a big difference.
And this is so true. We know how tough it is to create a global brand, right? That can create things that are relevant at a global level, respecting those local nuances. And I think this is exactly what you guys are doing really well. So Islam, I would love now to hear from you, because you have kind of the same challenge, right? So how to design, what is your framework to achieve creative excellence at scale?
Absolutely. And thank you for having me here. And such an honor to be next to you, Giovanna, as well. I just want to ask everybody who's on that section, not that section, can you hear us okay? So let's do a social experiment before I answer this. I'm going to say, can you hear me okay? And shout yes as high as you can, because then they will think there is something going on, and then they will all give us attentions. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah!
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah!
Did it work? Maybe not. We'll see. Anyways, no, I think the reason why this is so important as a topic, if you think of today, the name of the game is really to recruit communities. And communities are defined by passions, values, convictions, and whatnot, which is pretty much what defines culture, right? So if a brand wants to really recruit, you got to connect with these communities and find what's common, shared values, shared passion points. So without understanding cultural intelligence, you're not going to be able to recruit these communities. So the framework is very simple. Coca-Cola or any other brand in our portfolio, we would define the values we believe in, the pillars we stand on, and then work with partners like Winnin and go find these communities and see what is common between us and start digging for those moments, digging for those shared values, and then communicate. And you get some of it right, some of it wrong, but as you keep learning, it gets better and better, and then you're talking to communities. Long gone are the days of, I'm going to target an entire generation or an entire country or even an entire city. It doesn't work anymore. You have to go micro, you have to go subcultures.
Amazing. Thank you for the mention. I'm going to just make an intro as well on what Winnin exactly does. So Winnin is today the leading platform worldwide on helping brands to map culture with behavioral data. So very different versus, for instance, social listening that is mapping what people are mentioning. We're mapping what people are doing through social video consumption. So we understand what people are spending their time with, their attention with. And with those insights, we help brands like Unilever and Coke to improve their overall creative process with better briefs, better strategic decisions, so on and so forth. So, and home care in America, and I have said that to Giovanna a week ago. Just this week, her brand Sif from Brazil just broke the record on shortlist from Brazil, correct?
Yes.
A round of applause. So, and Sif, it's a legacy brand. How many years Sif is being out there?
In Unilever, much more. In Brazil, we launched by 2012.
Okay.
But it has been like the latest 2 years that we really gave like a very expressive turnaround on the brand and growing and becoming super connected to culture. And it has all to do with finding the subcultures, these communities, passion points, to be able to unleash the full brand potential.
Okay. I just want to make that context so you can tell more about in detail, because I think the details are important here. So share what are some unexpected insights on culture you were able to uncover looking at behavioral data and embracing this type of process that could inspire your amazing agency partners to shine?
So one of the things, so Sif is a cleaning brand, and we knew that the product was great, and our differentiation was tough cleaning, several surfaces, no effort. But then how to communicate in a very engaging way, because it's a cleaning product, super functional, etc. So the first thing, already connecting to partners such as Winnin, because we work super close on that brand, was to understand how our Sif lovers, our fans, were connecting with the brand. And they were talking it was all about doing miracle for the surfaces. So something they thought it was lost, and then, oh, wow, this Sif can clean. And then what we did together with Winnin was to really find those subcultures and communities, so the passion points, what can we use with Sif? And then for one of the examples, we discovered that sneaker fans, they really can clean sneakers with Sif. And if you haven't done that, I see several sneakers, it's amazing. And then we said, okay, there is this community, there is this passion point, and we can embrace that. And that, by working with Winnin and really understanding deeper the insight, we realized, for example, that a connection there was with sneaker fans and also music festivals. And when you go to the music festival, your sneaker is dead. So Sif was all about bringing your sneaker back to life, and all this from the identifying the community, the passion point, connecting this passion point to music, which is another passion point, and creating the insight was the framework for creating the creative excellence that we've managed with this brand. And we took the brand to Rock in Rio, in the case of Brazil. And we did lots of things, bringing to life back the sneakers that were used in the festival. So no more sacrifice sneakers. And that came all because of the insights we could find, which is a completely different way of identifying opportunities for your brand.
Oh, it's amazing. It's a cleaning brand sponsoring a music festival in an authentic and relevant way. This is massive. And through that process, it's recruiting an entire generation of consumers, expanding the product use case, expanding the business. So congrats. And it's just one of the communities, right? There are more to come here.
Yes, we are now working, for example, other kitchen stuff. We identified several things such as air fryers, and we know that air fryer is a big community. Recipes, how to use, best air fryer, etc. So it's all about identifying those passion points, what people talk about, and then how your brand can serve that community, providing any benefits or services or even an emotional connection.
And one of the things we do at Winnin is also measure how relevant the brand is becoming throughout this journey with a metric we call share of attention. And what is amazing about the Sif case is when you look in the last 12 months in Brazil, the brand share of attention in the category is like over the roof. So imagine people think about this brand in so many unexpected ways. So Islam, share like some examples of unexpected insights you've discovered, like looking at data, going through this process on the Coca-Cola creative journey.
Absolutely. First of all, I discovered one just now. So I'm going to definitely take you up on cleaning the sneakers, and I'm going to give you reviews on that, because
No, he has an entire collection of sneakers, huh? How many sneakers?
Yeah, I'm in the
Big
game,
fan?
but
Okay.
yeah, not in the cleaning yet, but I'm in the game. Some unexpected insights on our side that was really interesting to find. we always try to find moments where people associate the brand and the product in these moments. Traditionally, you get the regular stuff. Hey, I want to have a burger, so you're going to have a Coke with it. Hey, I feel it's a little bit hot, I need to be refreshed, you get a Coke with it. Some very interesting ones came to us by digging into cultural intelligence. Number one, who gossips here in this session? Who likes to gossip? Yeah?
Well, yeah, say this,
Did
this is a
you
real
know-
behavior.
Did you know, a little bit? So, to our surprise, gossip sessions get to be better sometimes when you have a Coke, for some reason, right? So, we saw a lot of people on social doing gossip sessions and enjoying a Coke with it. And we would, like logically, traditionally, any construct of correlation does not give you that. But when you do intelligence and figure out the communities and find it, this came to us. This was number one. Second, something called girl therapy. I'm not a girl, but when I saw this as well, that also girl therapies, and you have some Cokes with it, and we're like, man, this is gold. And the beauty of this is that you get all the user-generated content already that people do and associate your brand with it. So when you're briefing your creative partners, you share that to them. It's very different than telling them, hey, can you convince people of the association? Can you work hard on the association? This is the association coming from the people and the brand coming and say, I see you. It's a very different way of communication versus the past. So these two, girl therapy and gossip sessions, mind-blowing.
And it's amazing to see how Coke, through Islam leadership, creative leadership, is truly embracing user-generated content as a strategic pillar of the overall brand building, right? Like, we're not in the days where we control the brand, people control our brand, and we as leaders can, potentialize that in a great way. So, in last year, you guys won so many awards with the case on embracing how people are, painting the Coca-Cola logo, right? Share a little bit more on this process, because I think it's kind of the
100%.
same.
And I think we have a lot of the brilliant minds by coincidence. We did not architect this, I swear to God. But a lot of the people here from VML are the ones who created this. So give a round of applause for them, because this is the most awarded Coke campaign ever. So the insight was very interesting. Who works and follows influencers in here? Yeah, you do? Okay, so this insight came to us that our biggest influencers are actually the mom and pop stores owners. They are the biggest Coca-Cola influencers, and they create content. They are creators, and they influence their communities. So you go with all of these store owners, and they make a lot of art using our brand. Sure, it infringes our guidelines, but they're not print houses. They're not necessarily digitized. It's a mom and pop store. They're sharing their love and their pride with that. And we discovered this through data as well, that when you talk to them and when you ask them and when you see why they do this, it's because of pride. They're like, hey, I am a grocery store. I am very proud to sell Coca-Cola inside. And then the campaign came from us thanking them for their creation. And it's called Thanks for Coke Creating, right? So it was so beautiful. And when we did it first and we launched it, it went like wildfire. We started in Latin America, then we went all over Asia, and some parts of the US, and some parts of Europe, and South Africa, and whatnot. It became really contagious because it's so insightful, and that's the power of intelligence. When you really dig into the data and you get it properly, it just unleashes so many things. Like the team here, we started first by acknowledging them, giving them limited edition packs, acknowledging them on out of home and whatnot, but then we did exhibitions. So we have the World of Coke in Atlanta. If you're ever passing by Atlanta, hit me up. I'll take you to the World of Coke. We started doing an exhibition there. We printed all their art in a book that we printed and gave them all the revenues. So it's mind-blowing what you can do with insight and intelligence done right.
Amazing, amazing. So I want to jump into like a different topic here, because let's be honest, being cultural relevant, it became kind of a buzzword, right? So every brand is, I want to be cultural relevant, but I see very often some brands traducing this intent into the idea of what is the topic of the week? Oh, they are talking about, so let's talk about this. And what is the topic of the other week? So, and then you start to see so many brands doing the same thing first and not building an iconic, consistent brand in the long run? And I know both of you have a very different approach, right? So both brands are not into what is the topic of today or the week, but how we understand and build those long-term platforms, cultural platforms, and we creatively connect with people throughout those corridors, right? So I want to hear how to balance this idea of speed and depth, and how do you see, like from a brand perspective, the role of defining those platforms and how important it is to achieve cultural relevance at the end of the day.
Gian, I'll answer you in two parts this question, because for me that is one thing of not getting all the trends that appear and all the new conversations. And I think that this connects to what I said at the beginning. When you have a very strong human truth that you can translate into cultural relevant topics, like Gian was saying, passion points, interests, needs, communities, shared values. Then when you have that, what we usually call in Unilever kind of a brand verse, and we understand our mapping, where we can go, then when you are looking at the trends or the conversations that arise, then it's easier and faster to judge and say, it makes sense to be part of that conversation, or it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it can be tempting. If you think about, for example, Rock in Rio or even music festivals, it's super common to see like the peak of conversation. So you just want to be there, but just be there when you have something to say. And when we decided to go to a music festival, it was because we found the sneaker inside. Otherwise, it was not making any sense to go. And then when you talk about depth and speed, I think we need to have both. I think we need to have depth on understanding, again, our shared values, our passion points, interest points that we really want to tackle, to be able to guide us on this consistency and really building a brand and strengthening the equity and not deviating to any sexy topic that appears. But at the same time, culture is moving so fast that if you're not able and if you don't have the muscles to be able to work in this environment, it's impossible to sustain and to make your brand still relevant. So I think it's important to have the way of working, the structure, the muscles, and that's where partnerships like the one we have helps a lot, because then you can, by the moment you have depth on understanding where to play, and then you see the trends, you are super fast to judge, understand, okay, it makes sense for me to be there or not, and then also fast to respond, because the moment you respond, not losing the moment, makes lots of a difference.
100%. What about you, Islam? Tell me how you.
I fully agree with Giovanna. I think you need both. So you need speed at moments, you need balance at moments. I think what always is the judge is what your brand stands for, what is really authentic to your brand and what's not, and not to get carried away with things. For example, years ago, do you guys remember Harlem Shake? Remember Mannequin Challenge? Remember all of that stuff? So Harlem Shake came, everybody wanted to be part of it. And we started talking about it after Harlem shook and moved on. You know what I mean? So, and people still want to do something about it. And it's like, you don't have to be fast in these situations. But if it's a situation that is very relevant to your brand, then time is of the essence, because then it becomes a lost opportunity. So this is when you need to be fast. But the balance is, and I like what you said, cultural relevance is one of the most ambiguous, misunderstood, overused words in the marketing and advertising industry. So it has to be, as a brand, there is a community. The brand wants to be relevant to that community, so you got to understand the culture of that community and what is relevant to them. It's as simple as that. If you get it, then you're relevant to them. If you don't, then you're not relevant to them. So you need a balance, and you need to stay true to yourself, and you need to understand your community that you're talking to. It's simple, but it's not practiced, but it's very simple.
100%. So we are reaching our last minute here. Unfortunately, that was been amazing chat. So let's look forward. So I just want to hear kind of how you're seeing like the next 5 years in marketing. With all those transformations coming around AI and the use of data. And, you know, I've heard other day this phrase that I like it a lot. Everything is changed, but nothing has changed because the fundamentals are still there, right? And so I want to hear your perspective on that. How do you see the next 5 years for us?
Gian, I think that brands always had to find people's attention. It's just changing the way. It's getting maybe more difficult now because of the way attention is spread. But it's always the job of a brand to call attention in a relevant way, to be able to mean something to people, and as a consequence to convert. And I think that for me is the biggest change now and in the future. So for me, one of the things is to really be passionate about people and where the attention of people is moving towards, because then you have like great chances of succeeding. For me, this is one. And when it comes to technology, AI, etc., I am a super fan in terms of I know this can amplify our ability to respond. This can amplify the way we measure. This can amplify lots of things. I am a true believer on the human part of it. And I think that when we have this human part well solved for a brand and for the brand beliefs, then it's easier to use the technology to scale up, to make it more effective, to get to more people, to be faster and identifying cultural things, cultural insights, etc. But for me, there is this balance between the technology and the human thing. We were discussing just today about one of the brands I work with, which is Comfort. And we were talking about it. Like, Comfort is all about perfume. And perfume is something that you can smell. But when you smell, you can feel. And it brings lots of meanings, emotions, olfactive memories. It's much bigger than just identifying a smell, you know?
Amazing. Islam, give us your thoughts.
Simple answer given we're out of time. I think the future is going to be like fashion. When things from the 60s and 70s, they come back in the future. I think we're going to go into a future where simplicity is going to reign supreme, going back to basics, going to imperfection, embrace humanity and all of that. I think that's going to be the future, in my opinion. But I'm often wrong. So, yeah, easy question. But I think that will be the case, though.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.